So here you have it, our easy peanut butter sauce, literally ready in minutes. And welcome back to another VegInspired recipe video. Are you tired of salads? Are you tired of having to eat them with your fork? This recipe for our salad spring rolls is going to become one of your favorites. John and I have been eating these probably for the last 6 months, and I don't think we'll ever get tired of them. And one of the big things I teach my clients in the Successfully Plant-Based program, specifically around meal planning, is to plan meals that you're excited about. So this meal can be a meal that you just prep everything and roll quietly in the kitchen, or it can be a date night meal where you roll together. So tonight, I'm gonna invite John into the camera to be part of our video with us. All right, let's make the peanut sauce for these spring rolls. Okay, so this recipe actually is modified. I love these modified recipes from the 30-minute cookbook for the bulgur lettuce wraps on page 58. The modification that I'm going to make is I'm going to use PB powder. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the PB powder and we're going to whisk. Now every PB powder is a little bit different on its hydration and also where it's stored. So we're going to start with 6 tablespoons, but if I feel it needs to be a little bit thicker or a little bit more peanut buttery, I might add up to 8 tablespoons of the PB powder. So let's get this recipe going. 1, 2, oh my gosh, I'm making a mess. 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, I don't actually mix my PB powder with water. I add liquid at the end. So if I feel like it needs a little bit more liquid, I might add a little water at the end. I might add a little plant milk if I want it to be a little creamier. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the 6 tablespoons of PB powder, and then I'm gonna add my liquid flavored ingredients, and then I'll decide if I want water, plant milk, or more PB powder in just a minute. So next up, we're going to add 4 tablespoons or 1/4 cup of soy sauce. Now you can use tamari, you can use liquid aminos, coconut aminos, whatever you use for your soy sauce. Now I also have a mushroom umami sauce that I made for the budget friendly cookbook that is on the VegInspired.com website. I will go ahead and put a link for that in the description. If you want to use something that has absolutely no salt, you can try the mushroom umami sauce. It is really, really good in all of these recipes. I literally used it through the entire budget-friendly plant-based cookbook, and it was a great replacement for your soy sauce, your aminos, anything like that. Next, we have 3 tablespoons of seasoned rice vinegar. Now, in this recipe, I am using seasoned rice vinegar. If you don't want the sugar and the salt, you could use unseasoned and sweetened with maybe a little date paste or a little maple syrup, something like that, if you feel like your peanut sauce needs a little bit of sweetener. Next, we're going to do 2 tablespoons of lime juice. So as you can see, we put a lot of liquid in here that's flavored, and so that's why we don't add the water to the peanut butter powder until we're sure how much liquid it really needs. Then we add just a dash of sriracha. Now this is the fixed sriracha. This is the one John likes. I don't like it real spicy, so I don't add a lot, so it's just a little dash. You could leave it out. You could use, if you like crushed red pepper, you could put crushed red pepper in it. You could not put any hot sauce. If you like a different sriracha, you can use that. So to me, this is a little watery. 7, and I'm gonna go ahead and add 8. I'm just gonna make the recipe 8. So this is 8 tablespoons of PB powder turned into our peanut sauce. Just whisking it up. Now, these 2 ingredients that I'm going to add right now are not in the cookbook. You do not have to add them. I just like a little sprinkle of ginger and a little sprinkle of garlic powder, ground ginger and garlic powder. Not a lot, just a little. Very peanutty, has that great savory umami from the soy sauce and the lime juice. So that's the texture that I like. It's where it's kind of runny. It's not going to totally run off your spring roll, but so it's going to stick a little bit. I like it that way. Like I said, you could add a little plant milk if you wanted a little thinner. You could add a little water if you wanted it a little thinner. You can also make this recipe with half a cup of natural peanut butter if that's what you have at home. No big deal, no worries, you can do that. I have PB powder and I just like that it's a little less fat. That's why I use PB powder. We are gonna make salad spring rolls, and I'm gonna have a little buddy helping me in the kitchen today. Little buddy? I know, he's not Archie. That's what you were hoping for, wasn't it? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to soak our rice paper. Now we like Blue Dragon rice paper. We think that they stay together. We've tried a bunch of different brands, but that one seems to work really well. We're gonna soak that. We use a pie dish. So there's gonna be a lot of pro tips in this video because, like I said, we've been making these spring rolls for the last 6 months, and we probably make them at least once a week, sometimes twice. That's how much we love them. And one of the pro tips is the spring roll wrapper fits perfectly in a full pie dish. The other thing you could soak it in is if you have a lipped cookie sheet or baking sheet, you know, where maybe a jelly roll pan or something like that that has a lip around the edge of it, you could put it in there and soak them. So we only do one spring roll at a time, and I usually roll them. So I want to make sure that not only do you see how we cut the veggies into matchstick style, where they're, you know, kind of thin, or cucumbers are kind of thin, but also how I roll the spring roll. So in these spring rolls, we're going to have mint and cilantro. We're going to have cucumber, cabbage, red cabbage, carrots, and then we also have some rice noodles. We like the Annie Chun brand, and then we're gonna roll them, pro tip, in a lettuce leaf. So let's get into this. The first thing I do is I put mint right down, and John really likes a lot of mint. He loves the mint to be in every bite. So when I roll, since I roll both of ours, I roll his with a lot of mint. And then put in some carrots. Now I'm keeping it about an inch from either side with my veggies. Usually start a little bit closer to me. Some cabbage. I'm gonna grab a bottom. What I like to do is do the bottom of the lettuce. I just kind of break it up and put that in there. Maybe a little bit more. Actually, let's use this one because I kind of broke it too early. They're too small. And then I put a little bit of noodle in there. And then I roll from the part that's closest to me forward, tucking all the veggies in and getting the wrapper around to the front. And then I fold the end in on either side, kind of like a burrito. And then I just tuck and roll, tuck and roll, tuck and roll. And then, as I said, another pro tip is that we put these spring rolls right in a romaine lettuce leaf. And so now they won't stick to each other. Some of the romaine lettuce isn't as nice and cup-like as others. So again, I just smooth out the wrapper. I lay down my mint first, and then some cilantro, some carrots, some cucumber, some cabbage. I grab a couple pieces of a lettuce piece and just kind of rip it. And I grab some noodles. And I roll and tuck, wrap in the ends, and then roll and tuck. We have a beautiful spring roll. What I like about these spring rolls is you can put anything in them. You could put avocado in them. You could put bell pepper in them. You could put sliced tomatoes, sliced sweet potato, cooked sweet potato. You could put spinach. I mean, it really is up to you how much you put in. That one might have a little bit more noodles than it should, but that's okay. I get hungry towards the end and I start making them fatter. So if that's you, don't feel bad. If you get hungry towards the end and start to make them bigger, it's okay. And as I said, the outer leaves of the romaine tend to help it wrap better, tend to be bigger. So we make about 5 each. That's about I would say the noodles make about 10 servings. I think a couple of the early ones that I rolled I didn't use enough noodles, and so that's why I ended up with two really noodle heavy ones at the end. Earlier I whipped up the peanut dressing or the peanut sauce for you, and as I mentioned, sometimes it gets a little thick. So what I want to do right now is I want to add a little bit of water to thin it out. This is really great because you can determine the texture. So if you do make your peanut sauce, especially with the PB powder earlier, or you make it and it sits in the fridge, you can whisk it up and add a little splash of water. I'm just going to add a teaspoon of water, maybe a little more because some extra came out. And I'm just going to whisk to my desired texture because again, you might like it really runny and really drippy down the side of your spring roll and real messy, and I might like it less messy. So a teaspoon of water thinned this out, getting it back to that nice texture that we had before, where it's not quite a paste, but it's also not going to drip all over everything. I mean, I feel like I have to taste these for you because that's how this works. So let me get one from my plate. Here's my big plate of spring rolls. Again, they're like salad spring rolls because most of the ingredients are veggies. So I'm not gonna dip it because that would make a mess. These are so good. As I mentioned before, these are one of our favorite meals. Thank you so much for watching this video. Give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe. These recipes are coming to you free, and a thank you to me would be an amazing subscribe as we try to grow the channel to 10,000 subscribers. Join the community, join the fun. Let me know in the comments what other types of recipes you'd like to see. A huge shout out to John. Thank you so much for being my buddy, and I'll see you in our next video. Until then, eat more plants and live veg inspired. Bye.